Hi everyone, welcome back to Enter Valhalla. We've talked about the emotional side of grief, a spiritual side, but today we're talking about something physical, something that can make you feel like you are genuinely losing your mind.
We're talking about grief brain, otherwise known as grief fog.
Exactly. That thick, heavy fog that settles in after a loss. You can't focus, you lose your keys, you walk into a room and forget why. And Maya, I wanted to talk to you about this because you had a really specific and honestly a pretty scary experience with this, right?
Yeah, I did. It was maybe 3 months after my Oma died. The initial shock was over, the funeral was done, and I was back at work. I was supposed to be the high-functioning, get-it-done person again.
You were supposed to be back to normal.
Right. Ridiculous. But I wasn't. I was sitting at my desk, and I just stared. I couldn't string a sentence together. I'd forget simple words, but the moment that broke me, I was working on a huge project, and I sent a critical email with the financial details to the wrong client.
Oh, no.
It was a massive mistake, one I would never make. My boss was understanding, but I was horrified. I went into the bathroom and just locked myself in a stall, shaking. I thought, what is wrong with me? Am I having a cognitive decline? Is this early onset dementia? I was 30 years old, Alex, and I was genuinely terrified that my brain was broken.
That's so isolating. You're already dealing with the grief, and now you have this new, terrifying fear that you're losing your intellect.
Exactly. I jokingly played it off to my coworkers as my first senior moment. So you're here to interview me, right? Ask me. What did I find out?
Okay. So, Maya, you're at this breaking point. You think your brain is broken. What did you discover?
I discovered that my brain wasn't broken. It was just busy. I wasn't mentally broken either. I fell down this research rabbit hole and found this term, grief brain or grief fog. And it's a real, documented, physiological response to loss.
It's not just you're sad, so you're distracted?
No, it's not. I learned that grief, especially a major loss, is processed by the brain as a trauma. And when your brain is in trauma response mode, everything changes.
How so? What's actually happening?
So, from what I read from therapists and neurologists, here's the simple version. Your brain's threat center, the amygdala, is on high alert. It's constantly scanning for the next danger. It's in survival mode.
It's in fight or flight constantly.
And because it's in survival mode, it hijacks the brain's resources. It basically pulls all the power from your smart brain, the prefrontal cortex. That's the part that does executive functioning, memory, concentration, and rational decision-making.
So your smart brain is just offline.
It's offline, or it's running on 10% battery. On top of that, your body is flooded with stress hormones like cortisol, which are toxic to the part of your brain that forms new memories. And of course, I wasn't sleeping, so you add it all up. Trauma, a hijacked prefrontal cortex, cortisol, and sleep deprivation. It's not a mystery that I couldn't remember a client's email address. It's a miracle I remembered how to drive to work.
Wow. Just hearing that, it's such a validation. So once you had this diagnosis, once you could name it, how did you find your way through it?
It changed everything. The first thing I did was stop blaming myself. I stopped calling myself stupid. I literally started saying, my brain is injured. and it needs to heal.
You gave yourself compassion.
I had to. And then I got practical. I accepted that my brain couldn't be trusted for a while, so I used crutches. I bought a ton of sticky notes. I put them everywhere, on my mirror, my dashboard, my computer monitor. I wrote down everything. I set alarms on my phone for the simplest tasks.
You were essentially outsourcing your short-term memory.
100%. I lowered the cognitive load, as they call it. I stopped trying to juggle 10 things in my head. I did one task at a time, very slowly. I even told my boss, I'm struggling with grief brain right now, so I'm going to be triple checking my work and using a lot of checklists.
That's incredibly brave.
It was scary, but it was better than them thinking I was just incompetent. And finally, I stopped trying to think my way out of it. I focused on my body. I treated it like a concussion. Did I sleep? Did I drink a glass of water? Did I eat something? Did I go for a 10-minute walk? I went back to basics.
So, in the end, what was the big lesson from all of this?
I learned that grief is not an emotion. It's a full-body neurological event. It's an injury. You can't hustle your way through it. You can't optimize it. You have to rest it. You have to be patient. And I learned that my brain wasn't broken. It was just doing its absolute best to protect me from a pain that was too big to process all at once. And slowly, the fog does lift.
That is such a powerful way to look at it. Thank you for sharing that, Maya.
So to anyone listening who has lost their keys for the third time this week or can't remember a simple word,
You are not losing your mind. You are not broken. You're just in grief, and you need to be kind to yourself.
we want to hear from you. Have you experienced grief brain? What did it feel like for you, and what crutches did you use to get through it? Share your story in the comments.
Thank you for listening to Enter Valhalla.